Okay, hello everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to come and make Kaltura your friend. I'm Claire DeMarco. I'm the director of the Graduate Studies Support Center. And then we also have Jenna Johnson here today, who will be giving you a little tour of Kaltura, and obviously happy to answer questions and address concerns where we can. You know, one little caveat, we are not IT. So we're pretty good at troubleshooting those lower level issues, but if you have some more complex technical issues, we'll probably be sending you over to our wonderful service desk, but they're absolutely amazing and should be able to help you out. As I mentioned, we absolutely want to make sure we're addressing questions during the presentation today. If you do have a question, you'll see we have a couple of features going. We have both the chat and the Q&A. If you could put your questions in the Q&A, that helps us make sure we respond to those questions because it allows us to track them. Whereas if you use the chat, things might go missing. But please do use the chat to talk about yourselves. That's totally fine. We definitely encourage a little bit of community building in these moments when we get to connect in person. We will also be recording this presentation. It's being recorded right now, and we'll be sharing it in our Graduate Studies Support Center with our other Skill Up presentations. All right, well, on that note, I'm going to kick things off and share my screen. All right, so I am sharing my NCU1 homepage. This is your hub to pretty much get to everything that you need as student or faculty. I see we have a mix of student and faculty on the presentation today. So first things first, how do we get to Kaltura? How do we get to our recording tools? Well, from your NCU1 homepage, you should see this learning toolkit. If you click on that, you get a little drop-down menu, and there's lots of fabulous resources in here. So shout out for LinkedIn Learning and our great starts. But today, obviously, we're talking about My Media. This is how you get to your Kaltura. So you'll go ahead and click on My Media. All right, perfect. Okay. Oh, yes. So we're in our My Media library. This is not in of itself Kaltura. This is a location within your NCU1 where you're able to store those video, audio files. So you can see I've already got a few saved in here. So to get that media in here, there's a few ways to do that. And they all fall under this Add New button. Okay, so the first option on the list is Media Upload. So for those of you here who have a favorite video recording software that you love to use and you're really good at it and you're comfortable with it, you can use that to do your video assignments. You don't have to use the Kaltura Capture tool. You can use that software, export the file, and then upload it into your My Media library and then share it into your assignments or courses as needed. So I say that because we do sometimes have folks who are like, I hate Kaltura, but I love X. And it's like, well, go ahead and use X if you're happy with it, and just upload it into here so then you can share it as an assignment. The only thing I will say about that, though, is, of course, say you have your favorite software X and you have an issue with your favorite software X, we're not going to be much help with it because we're not familiar with it, whereas Kaltura, we are. So again, it's going to be that software that you're really comfortable with, you know all the ins and outs. I wouldn't recommend doing something you're not very comfortable with because, again, if you come and ask for our help, we're probably going to be in the same boat as you, just try to figure out how it works. So go with Kaltura if you don't have an already favorite video software. Express Capture. This is a really fun tool to use if you need to do a recording and you're just wanting to record your face, so your webcam, and your voice. So for our faculty on the line, for your welcome videos, I would recommend using Express Capture. It's a lot simpler. And for the students on the line, if you have an assignment where they're not requiring you to share any PowerPoint or presentation, just kind of want to see you and get to know you. And we have a few assignments like that. Okay, Express Capture. So let's take a little look at what that looks like. Now, bear in mind, I'm already using my webcam to see you lovely folks today. So it's not actually going to grab my webcam for the demo. But always a hard thing with trying to do videos on videos, you're kind of overlapping things. But typically what you would see here is what you're basically seeing now, whatever my webcam is capturing. And then also my audio. And you can see that here. Here's the little camera. Here's the little audio microphone showing that it's capturing those two things. So again, this is for those videos where it's literally just you talking on camera, nothing more complex. And then it's really simple to use. I'm not going to demo this because it is really simple, I promise you. You just hit the red button to start recording, you hit the red button to stop recording, and then you just save the recording. So if you are doing those type of videos, again, especially for our faculty who maybe are doing welcome videos or just hi, good to know you videos, this is where you'll want to go. It's a lot simpler to use. All right, well, I will pause there though, just to see if anyone has questions on the Express Capture or what I've covered so far. Anything, Jenna?
I'm not seeing any questions yet. I've answered some in the Q&A, but I wanted to know if you wanted to cover that little notice in the top left of your screen, because students might see that.
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Jenna. So you can see here, I've got a little pop-up that came up, and this is very typical. Your web browser, your computer, they've got a ton of things there that are trying to keep your computer safe from viruses and things like that. So typically you're probably going to see some kind of warning message saying, hey, do you really want to let this software come in and use your camera and your microphone? And of course you do. So you want to get your assignment done or your video done. So in that case, you would just click the allow to let it go. And of course, again, I get this weird message because my camera's already being used by the Zoom. But do not be surprised. Now, one thing I will say, of course, is this is specific to my computer, my browser. So if you use different browsers, you might see those messages come up in different places, but do not be alarmed. That's just your computer being cautious. Go ahead and let it use the software so that you can complete your assignment.
And Claire, we do have two questions in the Q&A.
Okay.
The first is from Andrew, and it is about setting a background when you're doing your video and your webcam.
Yes, so with Kaltura, you cannot use, unless anyone else knows, but there is not a way to do a virtual background. So you do have to find a location that you're okay with people seeing. I will tell you that your faculty are not worried about how clean your house is. All they care about is, hey, do you understand the content, and are you understanding the outcomes for this assignment? So they're not going to judge you if you've got a messy background, or even if there's kids running around, whatever, wherever you need to go to do your assignment, go ahead and do it. But yeah, that's one of the downsides, is that there's not the virtual background feature in the Kaltura or the Quick Capture tool.
Okay, and we do have one more questioning. Is there a time limit for the Express Capture?
I've never maxed it out, so I think you're just fine. I know pre-COVID, I think there was some maxes, but they changed some of that because people were doing a lot more virtual work. But that's a really good question. If you're doing like a 30-minute long presentation, not that I've had any assignments that long yet for a video, I would avoid Quick Capture. So that if you're, 1 to 3 minute type videos, stick to Quick Capture, but for those longer videos, go ahead and use Kaltura Capture. Great question, by the way. Okay. All right, back to our My Media. And you see every time to sort of get back to that main page, I just go back up to this menu and go ahead and click on My Media. I don't like messing around too much with doing the back browser or anything. That tends to sometimes mess up things. All right, so back to our Add New button. Again, these are the different options for how we can add media to our media library. Quick note before I jump into Kaltura Capture on the video quiz. This is a tool that is included in D2L, the software that we use for going to class. But really, there won't be any time that you're using it. So we're not going to cover it today. It's more a tool that an instructional designer would use to add features within their videos. So you can kind of disregard that. If you want to play, you're welcome to, but it's not something that will be required in any of your assignments. All right, let's get into Kaltura Capture. Not a dirty word, it is our friend. Okay, so I have already downloaded Kaltura. I didn't want to obviously demo it because it can take some time to download things depending on your internet bandwidth. So this is a common area that we see some little hiccups from a technical standpoint. And again, it's what we find is that sort of 90% of the time, it's the student or faculty member's computer that's, again, trying to protect their computer and not letting them download the software. So when you go ahead and click either one of these options, download for Windows, download for Mac, keep an eye out for those warning messages. Sometimes it's just a little red dot you have to click on up in your browser to basically give your computer permission to download the software. All right. It's opened up on my other screen, so I'm just going to drag it over. Hang on. Sorry, folks, it's all the way on my other screen. Here it is. All right, so it is Kaltura Capture. Very simple little, I don't know what the word would be, control bar here that you use to capture different components from your computer. And we'll go ahead and go through each one. So let's start with audio. So the audio capture is capturing your voice. So if you're doing a presentation where you're speaking, you'll obviously capture your audio. I don't think I've ever seen an assignment where you don't need this on. So this is generally always going to be on. You're always going to be capturing your voice. And it's either going to be capturing your voice through the microphone that's built into your computer, or if you have a microphone attached, it could be capturing it there. And you can actually see which input the tool is using to grab your voice by clicking on this little carrot. And you can see here, it's grabbing my voice from my microphone, which I have here today. But if I click over here, I can see that I actually have a couple of options on my computer because that's my laptop's built-in microphone. So if I wanted to change from my Snowball microphone to my computer, I could, but I want to stick with my Snowball. Now, if for some reason I didn't want to capture my audio, again, not very common, you just click on the little microphone, and if it's white and X'd out, that means it's not being recorded. So watch out for that, because before you hit record and start doing the hard job of recording your presentation, you want to make sure you're recording everything that you need to record. So I'll go ahead and turn that back on, because 99% of the time we're probably recording ourselves speaking. Moving on to the second input. So this is your camera. This is your wonderful face. And again, it's either going to be pulling that input from your built-in webcam on your computer, or if you have a separate, more sophisticated camera and that's connected to your computer, it might be pulling from there. But again, if you want to see which input it's pulling from, you can click here. And I only have my integrated camera. That's the camera I'm using right now in the Zoom. And this is defaulted to off because it probably knows that my camera is being used elsewhere. So that's why it's got that white line. But again, if I wanted to turn on my camera, I would just click on this button. So it's that nice bright blue color. And then I know it's recording my, my webcam, my face. Okay. Now moving on to the third and final impact. And this is where people can get a little confused. So this is the screen. This is where Kaltura is recording your screen. So let's talk about one of our most common type of assignment types that we get, where you're asked to create a PowerPoint presentation and you're asked to present it to your faculty member using Kaltura. And you think, hey, how do I get a PowerPoint into Kaltura? Well, how does that work? And it's actually really simple. Just pull up the PowerPoint like you're going to present it on your computer and then record your screen. So if you're presenting your PowerPoint on your computer screen, that is what Kaltura is grabbing. So whatever's on your screen, that is what Kaltura is going to show in the video. So you might have different types of assignments. You might be asked to do a Prezi, do a demo, but whatever is showing on your screen, that is what is being captured by Kaltura. So in the case of not wanting to record your screen, so a bit like what we were doing in quick capture, you could turn it off again just by clicking on it. But probably 90% of your assignments, you're being asked to share some kind of presentation for your Kaltura assignment. And this is the same for our faculty in the room. If you're pulling up a student's paper and showing them stuff on the paper, whatever is on your screen, that is what your Kaltura is going to capture. So of course, be careful there. Make sure you've closed out anything you wouldn't want to accidentally share. I know for me, when I'm doing this, I pretty much have my PowerPoint up and then my NCU1 and Kaltura, and then I don't have anything else open. That way I'm not going to accidentally show my faculty member my, Yahoo email or something like that. So just a little tip there. Any questions on the inputs? Jenna, do we have any questions?
We do. I'm actually just responding to someone who had a question about, how do you get your face on the screen? So you've got the presentation, you've got your face. So, I'm just responding with, that's when you want to have the screen on, your camera on, and the audio on as well. And that's going to cover everything. It's going to record your voice, it's going to record your face, and it's going to record your screen.
Yeah, absolutely. So this option here, the camera or your webcam, that is what you'll want to be on. So I don't think this is doing anything too crazy. So see how this is blue? That means it's recording my webcam. Now, if you don't have a webcam, because some computers don't, and you don't have a separate webcam that you can plug in, go ahead and talk to your faculty member. But long term, that's something I would absolutely recommend that you invest in, especially if you are doctoral students, because at the end of your program, you're going to need to do a defense. So at some point, you're going to have to be on camera. Can't get out of it completely. But most computers now have a built-in webcam. But occasionally, we do find folks that don't have a webcam on their computer. Also, another tip, because of all the concerns with privacy, a lot of computers now have like a little window that goes over the webcam. So we'll have students reach out and say, it's not working, all I see is black. And they've got that little cover actually over their webcams. They just slide it open and voila. So honest mistake, we've all been there, right? Where we've called in for help with something, you're like, oh my gosh, but that's a common thing when you're, it's late on Sunday night, you're trying to finish your assignment. It's the sort of thing that you can forget to do. So just a little tip there as well.
And don't make the mistake that I did with my last presentation. I recorded the wrong screen because I have two screens.
Yeah. So, if you're on multi-screen users, watch out for that as well.
Now, Claire, do you think that you could demonstrate with the PowerPoint? Open up a PowerPoint presentation then maybe click on the screen option here and choose which screen.
Okay, hang on. Let me just pull up a PowerPoint. So let's see. All right, let me pull up this one. I'm trying to find one that's super generic. Okay, so let's pretend this is my assignment for this week. Ooh, go away. All right, so we're going to pretend that this is my assignment for this week. So I've pulled it up, and let me backtrack. So I pulled it up, and then the little Kaltura bar was missing. Where did it go? Well, it was behind the PowerPoint. So to bring it forward in front of the PowerPoint, I just clicked on the little icon down here at the bottom to pull it forward to front of screen. So basically, if I was to hit record now, what Kaltura would capture is my screen, right? So everything that you're seeing, except for the Kaltura bar, is what it would record. So before I hit record and start presenting my presentation, I'm going to make sure to put my PowerPoint into presentation mode. So this little button up here, you guys, there we go. So you can see now it in presentation mode. And hang on, because I've got dual screen, so you're not seeing what I'm doing over here, unfortunately. So here's my little bar again. So that had disappeared. So I clicked on the little icon to open it up again.
And
so
then,
now
I was just going to say, to advance the slides, Claire, you just hit, you know, like the space bar or the right arrow, right?
Yeah. However, if you haven't used PowerPoint before, I recommend using the little arrow buttons down at the bottom, but there are a few ways to advance the slides, but this is probably the easiest way. But obviously make sure to not start advancing the slides and speaking until you've hit the record button, which is next step in the process. All right. All right, so I'm all good to go now. We're going to, for the sake of this presentation, because I'm already using my camera to look at you lovely folks, I'm going to say this assignment just required me to share my presentation and my voice. They didn't want to see my face for this one. So this was a nice one. I could stay in my jammies to do it. So I'm recording audio, my microphone, and I'm recording my screen, which right now what I have up on my screen is my PowerPoint. When I'm ready to go, click on this big red button. You get a 3-second countdown. And voila, now we are recording. So the little bar moves down here to the bottom right of the screen. And as you can see a countdown. This is super helpful because a lot of time your assignments will say, you know, 5 to 7 minute presentation. So it's nice to have that so you can kind of pace yourself and make sure you're sticking to the right time frame for your assignment. It also gives me the ability to pause. So this is really nice. I'm going to pause the recording. Say you just get a sense that the mailman's about to come and your dog's about to go crazy and start barking. You can pause it for a minute and then restart again. I don't recommend doing this a lot in a presentation because it kind of just, it gets a little choppy in the final product, but a few here and there because you have to. I mean, it's better to do that than have to go all the way back to the beginning and re-record because of some sort of disturbance that happens in the background. All right, so I'm going to resume. Click in there again. All right, let's blah, 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 my assignment for the week, blah, blah, blah. And now I can stop by pressing there. Are you sure? Yep, I'm sure. Okay, so once you've finished your recording, this is the screen that pops up. So you're not actually quite done yet. If you want to watch it, you can. My tip when doing these type of assignments, especially when you're using your webcam and videoing your face or recording your face, is not to worry too much about perfection. Again, going back to what I was saying about the background, your faculty member doesn't want to necessarily see that you have perfect prose. Rather, they want you to be able to show that you understand the material from the course that week and the requirements of the assignment. So if you had a little stumble here or there, that is not a big deal. Please don't multiple recordings, you know, spending hours trying to perfect it when your faculty member just wants to see that you understand the content. And you'll probably notice that a lot of these assignment types are, you know, applicable situations, like you've been asked to present to your school board on a new instructional design strategy for the district. Now, if you were to go and present in front of your school board, you'd have a couple of stumbles. We're all human. No one's perfect. So it's totally normal that that would be in this type of video. So please don't obsess with perfection. You just did the presentation. You really don't need to watch more than a couple of seconds just to make sure it grabbed all those components, right? Screen, voice, face, if you're recording that. Other than that, don't watch yourself over and over again, or you'll drive yourself bonkers doing that. I always say, you know, good is done, right? So just a little tip there. But you can watch the first few seconds just to make sure everything recorded correctly. And then for the title, I definitely recommend changing this to something a little bit more logical, because it just says, you know, Kaltura Capture and the date. So put, you know, the course maybe, or the assignment, something that you're going to easily identify later. So we'll just say EDR 80, 60, week 7. Let's just say that. So that way it's easy for me to find this later. And then this is the really important step. This is something we do see quite a bit. The students will say, I did it. It just isn't showing up in my media library. And it's because they get to this step and then they forget to click the save and upload button. If you don't do that, then it's not going to show up in your My Media library. You do have the ability to go back and do a new recording from this page, but I'm sort of like, hey, you're probably done. Unless you happen to have 2 culture assignments due that week, you should be done. All right. Bear in mind, the video I did today was pretty short, 40 seconds. Also, I have pretty good internet service where I'm at. If your video is longer, if your bandwidth is not quite as good, it might take longer for those videos to upload. So don't be concerned if it's taking a while. I mean, if you're getting to like 20 minutes, that sort of length of time, then there probably is something going a bit awry there. All right, and then when I'm done with that, I just X out. And then I'm just gonna end my PowerPoint, get that out of the way. And here I am back in my NCU1. Okay, again, I always just go back up to my learning toolkit, back to my media, and assuming all goes well, voila, the video is there. So that is sort of stage 1 of Kaltura Fun. Couple of notes I wanted to make as well. If you've downloaded your Kaltura in the past and it's not playing nice, go ahead and uninstall and reinstall the software. I've had to do that a couple of times. I'm a pretty heavy user of it. But I've noticed it just seems like after a while, it just gets tired and I need to uninstall and reinstall the software. So that's a little tip that I like to give. So the big technical issues that you'll probably come across are those security measures on your computer trying to stop you from opening this, downloading this, or that just it getting tired, uninstall, reinstall. Kind of the old, did you turn it off and on again trick? Seems to work every time for me. But any questions before I hand it over to Jenna for her part of the presentation today?
I think we just have one question. Looks like we're going back to the advancing the slides in PowerPoint. So there is no, like, Kaltura is just a recording software, right? I mean, you do the presentation is somewhere else, whether it's PowerPoint or Prezi or Canva, and then Kaltura is going to record your face, the screen, it's going to record your voice. But when you're in the PowerPoint itself and you're advancing the slides, it has to be done in PowerPoint. You can't do that in Kaltura.
Yes, exactly. So similar to like how we are.
That's not correct. There's another way to do it. I'm sorry. I did it that way in a previous presentation. I'm sure I did it that way, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
Now, there is a feature in PowerPoint where you can add audio into each slide.
I know that.
Okay.
I know that. But they didn't want us to use PowerPoint, and they wanted us to use Kaltura. And there was a way that I put my whole presentation into Kaltura, and then I paused in Kaltura between the slides and advanced it, and I did it all in Kaltura.
Yes, yes. So if you remember when I was demoing, I showed the pause button. So that is an option. If you'd like to take it nice and slow and kind of pause before you advance, you're absolutely welcome to do that. So, you know, you're sharing.
Advance in Kaltura, not in PowerPoint.
Yeah, I think maybe it seems like you're in Kaltura, but you're on your screen advancing the PowerPoint. But your Kaltura is capturing that. So yeah, follow the steps that we showed today, and you're welcome to pause in between each slide if you're more comfortable, rather than trying to, I can see that if you're not super comfortable with PowerPoint and you want to advance, you know, being recorded, you can absolutely do that. That's not expected of your faculty member though. You know, feel free to just hit record, do the presentation, advance it without pausing. That's totally okay. You know, again, they're not looking for perfection. They're looking that you understand the content of the assignment, not how quickly you can advance slides in PowerPoint. So definitely, if you want to pause it, go for it, but you certainly don't have to. So that's the process for recording a PowerPoint. And then Jen will go into this, but then we also recommend providing a copy of that PowerPoint to your faculty member as well when you submit the assignment. So you've got your Kaltura that has recorded, your face, your voice, your screen. You happen to be presenting your PowerPoint on your screen, so they see that PowerPoint. They don't have the PowerPoint file in the Kaltura, but they see you presenting it. And then you can provide that file as well as the Kaltura recording when you submit your assignment. All right, any other questions, Jenna, before I hand it over to you?
We just have one in the Q&A, and I'm actually going to cover that right now.
Okay, perfect. All right, then I will stop sharing and hand it over to the lovely Jenna.
All right, thank you. I'm going to share now. Hopefully everyone can see my NCU1 homepage. All right, so what we're going to cover first up is going to be submitting your video assignments to the Dropbox. So you're all done with Kaltura. You've got your video as perfect as you would like it to be, and you want to go ahead and submit it to the Dropbox. So what I'm going to do is navigate to a course within NCU1 using the waffle icon. And then let's navigate to the specific Dropbox folder for the assignment. So it's just like submitting, any other assignment. The only difference is going to be that when you come down here all the way to the bottom, you have to go to the Insert Stuff button. So that's going to be here in the comments area. If you click Insert Stuff, you've got a list of options here. Just make sure that you scroll all the way down because Insert Kaltura is at the very bottom. Let's select it. And then we have our My Media library available. So this is going to pull up all the videos that you have in your My Media library. And to select the one that you want to upload, all you have to do is click on Select in the same bar or the same line as that video. And we should get a preview. There we go. So we have our preview here. We're going to click on Insert. You can see the preview is now showing up in that box right there. I'm going to expand this box just a little bit, make it a little bit bigger so that I can see this.
I turn mine off. I want them.
And then one thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands is in order to submit this, video file within the Dropbox, you do also have to add a file. That's what the Dropbox requires. So a lot of times when you're doing a presentation, you'll have a written component. It could be the PowerPoint file that you went through in your presentation. So if it's asking for a written component, you can go ahead and add the file just like you would, any other assignment located on your computer and upload it. If you do not have a written component, that's okay. All you'll have to do is, open up a Word document, type a quick introduction to your assignment, save that, and then that's what you're going to upload into the Dropbox. And then when you're done, all you have to do here is hit Submit. And then this is, what the faculty should see on their end is the little preview in the Dropbox. We're going to cancel though, because obviously we don't want to submit this. Now I want to show you in the event that there's an issue, maybe your faculty member has expressed that they, can't get to your video, they're having a problem viewing it. Or let's say you've got an assignment where it's asking for a peer review and you need to share your video outside of the Dropbox. You can actually do that in the My Media. So I'm going to cancel. I'm going to take us back on over to the Learning Toolkit. There we go. So let's go back home. Okay, so we are back in the My Media. And to get the share link, you can click on the title for the video. Now it's easy to miss. So it's in the very top right of your video. You've got the little icon, kind of looks like an open triangle with 3 circles. This is how you're going to share. So if you click on it, it's going to open up a new window here, and it's going to give you a few options. So you can share, you know, with like Facebook, Twitter, you've got email, LinkedIn, all this stuff here. But if you're going to share it with like your faculty member, I would suggest grabbing this link right here. And you can also use this link if you're going to share, you know, externally, if you need to post in the Commons and have a student peer review. Maybe you're going to have a, you know, a colleague or a friend or family member who's going to do the reviewing for you. You're going to want to share this top link. So you're going to copy the whole thing, and that's what you're going to provide. Now, there is a, you know, fancy little feature down here, just depending. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I hit record, I'm not quite ready, you know, and I'm still shuffling around a little bit, you know, making my screen look all nice and pretty. If you have a few seconds at the beginning of your video where you're kind of still getting set up, you can set it so that, you know, maybe you want it to start at 3 seconds where you've got your game face on and you're ready to go. So you can have it share starting at the 3-second mark, or, you know, whatever second or minute mark you're looking for. And then actually, I'm going to stop. Does anyone have any questions about submitting via the Dropbox or submitting externally with the link?
Jenna, I just wanted to mention that the process that Jenna showed in the Dropbox works in other locations in the platform. So for my faculty on the line, if you're doing that news post and you want to have that video nice and embedded, it's that same process using that insert stuff button.
Perfect. Okay. All right, so I want to cover just a couple more things while we're in the video. I'm going to scroll down here and we're going to talk about some of the options that are available. There are a lot of options available. We're only going to cover a couple because really only, I would say probably 2 are used regularly. Some of them are going to be more advanced. You know, if you're tech savvy or you're just interested, you want to play around a little bit, you can always check them out. But the ones we are going to cover are the captions and the publish. So to get to those options in your video, you're going to scroll down to the actions button and you're going to click on edit. And then what we see here is we've got, you know, some options available. Like I said, the 2 big ones are going to be the captions, the publish. I'm going to click on captions real quick and show you what you can do to get those updated. Let's face it, I mean, technology can only do so much. When you're in a, you know, a presentation, you're watching a video, things like that. Sometimes the, you know, internal AI does not always get your captions correct. So if you want to edit those, you're going to click on the edit captions button right here. And then when you come in, you can see it's got the timestamps for each of the captions. And then it also has, you know, the option that you could actually delete it if you wanted to. Maybe it was totally incorrect. Maybe it was just a loud noise. And you can also come in here and edit if you wanted to. All you have to do is type right in this information right here. So what I'm going to do real quick is type in something so that we have that. And then you can, if you want, you can revert. So it's going to go back to the way it was. Or if you make a change and you want to save it, you can just click save. Now, depending on how long your video is, you may have quite a few options here to go through, but it's always good to go through them, make sure that those captions are correct. That way, you know, your video is accessible and accurate for, you know, anyone who wants to view it. I am going to hit the back button because I don't need to save this. And now it's going to take us right back to the edit with all the options. I want to point one more thing out with the captions, and that's going to be that you can make changes to the captions. You've got the option to, you have edit right there. You could also go ahead and delete, or you can hide so it doesn't show up. Those are options available to you. And then while I'm right here, before I go over to the publish, I just want to point out a couple of things regarding the actual transcript. So you can download a copy of the transcript. You see this little download button here right underneath the video. We're going to click on it, and then depending on whatever your, you know, browser security settings are, or however you have things set up for your downloads, you might see it pop up here on the screen. You might see it go like directly into your downloads folder, or you might see, you know, a little notice or a little arrow turn green in your browser that says, hey, you've got to download. So if you want to access it, you just have to, you know, find out where the file is on your computer and then open it up. And then this is a full copy of the transcript. And then another way that you can view it if you don't want to download it is going to be right here where the show transcript is. Just click it. And there is a copy of the transcript as well. All right, Claire, before I move on to the publish situation, do we have any questions?
No, we do not. But I did have a thought. The transcript could be an example, could be a good thing to upload as that file with the video if you're looking for something to upload as the file.
Oh, I gotcha. Under the attachments.
No, when you're submitting your assignment, you know, you have to upload a file as well as the cultural video.
Oh, that's actually a great idea.
So that you don't have to do any extra work. Yeah. I'm
Just
always
copy
about
paste.
efficiency. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So we are going to talk about publish options. And I swear yesterday I just changed this to private, but somehow we've reverted back. So a couple of things that we want to talk about when it comes to the publish. Generally, you want your videos to be on private. Now, this does not mean, you know, that when you share the external link or when you put it in the Dropbox, that it cannot be seen by your faculty member or by your peer reviewer. It just means that it's not being published to other areas. So do you see how when I clicked on private, all these little options disappeared? When I click on publish, I can tell it I want to publish to, you know, certain courses. You don't want to do that because that's making your video available, you know, to everyone in that course with that faculty member. You know,
sorry to interrupt you. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I just figured something out when you said it reverted back. So the reason that, so when Jenna first did her video, it was private, but she has submitted this as an assignment in a course, and that's why it's flipping to publish, because she has shared it with her faculty member in the course. So that's why it reverted back. So I just wanted to jump in and explain that.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we don't want to do, like it's okay for it to be published, but what we don't want to do is clicking any of these options down here. Is that correct?
Yeah. So basically from a student standpoint, don't mess with anything in this tab. That's probably the easiest way of stating it, because you might accidentally end up sharing it with other students in the university if you start playing around with the publishing. But basically it will default to private. Then it will, when you share it with your faculty member in the course, it shares it with them, it publishes to them, and it just does that all automatically. So you don't have to worry about anything in this publishing tab at all. And this is the same for faculty. So you don't need to mess with this at all. When you go into your course and share your video in your news item, your students will be able to see it. And same with the link. You don't need to do anything extra. Like the link will work however these settings are in here.
Perfect. Thank you, Claire. And then I do want to show everyone before we get to questions, how to get to the Kaltura resources. So if we scroll up to this top navigation bar, we're going to click on the caret next to Resource Centers. We're going to access the Graduate Studies Support Center. Now this is going to open up in a new tab. And then all of our guides and videos and everything for Kaltura is going to be in NCU1. So under your learning resource topics, either here, or if you scroll down just a little bit in this icon right here. And then we have our Kaltura right here. So it's the main page when you come in, scroll down just a little bit, and you've got the user guide. You've got a guide specifically for submitting the video assignments. There's also the, like the help center for Kaltura if you have any questions. And then we will be posting this recording to the Graduate Studies Support Center Skill Up area. And that is going to be, if we click back to get to GSSC, we've got our little Skill Up tab here at the top. And it will be posted there within 24 hours. You should see it right here in this box. If you ever want to search for it, however, you can just come right in here to this search bar and type in Kaltura and look for it. All right. Do we have any questions? Claire, is there anything in the Q&A?
Yeah, so we have a couple of questions around that private publish area. Basically, if you don't mess with it at all, you'll be absolutely fine. It's when people start messing with it that they get issues. But if your faculty member is having issues seeing your video, my recommendation is actually that you come to our team and not tech support. So tech support or service desk are really good with things like it's like literally not working, the tool, kind of that more tech stuff. But the user stuff, we're actually really, really familiar with it. So come our way. So our email is gssc@nu.edu, and we'll put that in the chat. But if the video, so as Jenna was showing, like it defaults to private when you create the video, then you go and share it in the course, that automatically switches it to publish, and you can't override that. So Jenna kind of demonstrated that, and that she thought, I put that back to private, and it bounced back to publish. So just don't mess with it, basically, would be our top tip, and you'll be totally fine. But again, if there's something where you're like, I swear I've shared this with my faculty member, like they say they can't see it, come to our team and we can do that troubleshooting. We can go in there and have a look and see why that might not be sharing. A lot of where we see issues is where people grab that link incorrectly. So how Jenna showed you to go to the 3 little dots and grab the link that way. If you try grabbing it any other way, like, you know how in YouTube, you can just open YouTube, be watching the video, grab the link from the bar, your address bar, and that works for someone else. That won't work with Kaltura. And that's a lot of times where we see issues where people are grabbing that link. They're so used to things like YouTube and whatnot, that won't work because that's your personal link. But if you grab the link with the 3 little dots, that should work just fine. But we will go ahead and put our email in the chat. But I think
I have dropped it in the chat.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, we have nothing in the Q&A, but we'll give people just a couple of seconds to noodle and see if anything they can think of. Oh, okay, we did have a request to quickly show how to upload into Dropbox again.
Oh yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's navigate to the course itself, and then we're going to go access the Dropbox for a particular assignment. So let's click the link to get in, and then we're going to scroll all the way down And most assignments, you're going to use this, submit assignment, the add a file right here. To add your Kaltura video, you're going to go to the comments box. Click on this fancy button right here. It's called Insert Stuff. Then your new window is going to pop up. Scroll all the way down until you find Insert Kaltura. And then all you have to do here is find the video that you want to insert. So you can scroll through, ignore the fact that I recorded that multiple times, and find the specific video, click on the select button. Then you're going to have a preview pop up in this window. To officially insert it, you need to make sure that you click on insert. And then there it is. So it should pop up in that comments box, and that's how you know that it worked. Is there any other questions? Do I need to demo anything else again?
No, I think we're good. We had a request to send out the recording to attendees today, and we will absolutely do that to you and anyone who registered and wasn't able to make it. But I think, yeah, we are right at time. So thank you.
Yes, it looks like I joined late, sorry, but are you gonna have another sessions like this anytime soon?
We are not planning another live session, but plug for our center. If you need some one-on-one Kaltura support, come on in. We have chat, our alumni navigators available on chat most evenings and weekends, and they can actually help you one-on-one utilize the tool. So if you need that live support, but we also will be sending out the recording as well.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right, great. Yes, thank you.
And Jenna went ahead and put the link in the chat for our center, so you can jump on with a navigator, have some Kaltura fun together, make friends.
And are you going to be sending the recordings under the email that I registered with?
Yes, whatever the email was you registered with.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We really appreciate you being here. And as Claire said, we're going to make the recording available, and we will also send it out to all registrants.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye.